Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of my channel. In my previous videos, we are discussing about various aspects of Azure DevOps pipelines. In this video, I will try to implement DevOps pipelines for Azure Data Factory. So in my previous video, we have already implemented for SQL Server, for DevOps pipeline for SQL Server, for .NET Core Web API, for Angular based, .NET Core Web API based web applications as well. So right now we will try to implement CI/CD pipelines for Azure Data Factory using Azure DevOps. My name is Anshuman Dikshit. I'm working as a Azure Cloud Native Web Application Developer. My aim in this channel to simplify the experience of Azure, mainly related to development and DevOps. So there are certain types of terminology we implement in our production environments. There are certain time of real-time experience we gain on these things. So my aim is to just share those knowledges so that your life will become easy. So first of all, we have to understand what is Azure Data Factory. So Azure Data Factory, it's a fully managed data integration platform provided by Microsoft. So if we will go to Azure portal, and I have already just simplified all these things right now. I will go one by one to show you what exactly these things. So if you can see this kind of icon, this is representing one Azure Data Factory. So this is a little bit of advanced level video. So anyone who has already worked on Azure Data Factory and they wants to learn how the deployment works, they can really definitely help. This video will be helpful for them. So if you will go and here you can choose author and monitor, you should get the Azure Data Factory portal over here. So it is a ETL based integration platform provided by Microsoft. Let this thing gets loaded. We will continue after that. So whoever has already used Azure Data Factory, they must have known that there are four symbols over here. One is your home, one is your author, one is for monitor, one is for managed. So I'm not going into that part. I will stick into the DevOps part only. So let me click on the DevOps pages. So things you must know about Azure Data Factory. The first point is we can set up a repository for Azure Data Factory by using either Azure Git or GitHub. So Git is a version control platform. Anybody who have used GitHub or Azure Git, they must have known, or if you have watched my previous channel also, you must have known. So in this video we will focus on just using Microsoft related technologies. So I will going for Azure Git. You can also go for GitHub. I will create a separate video for that. So right now we will go for Azure Git only. Second point, which is very crucial, that is a single repository can be associated with one Azure Data Factory. Suppose you have a repository called as ADF repo. So that repository only can be associated with one single Azure Data Factory. Suppose you have three environments like dev, SIT, then you have your UAT environment. Now you cannot associate your single repository, your ADF repo, whatever the source control name that is, to three environments directly. You can only associate it with a single Azure Data Factory. In this video, we will associate it to dev environments Azure Data Factory. So there will be only one collaboration branch. It is also very important. So before this process, what was the recommendation was we can actually have a lot of collaboration branch in our development environment. But what Microsoft recommends is we should have only one collaboration branch. We can have multiple feature branches. You will understand this when I will create those branches, when I will create those feature branches, so that you will understand all these things. Now once the feature branches, we develop all the things in our feature branches, we'll merge those things to our collaboration branch. Here we will take master branch of Git Azure Git as our collaboration branch, and by using a pull request, we will merge the feature branch to the master branch. Now, Azure Data Factory has a concept of linked service and integration runtimes. What exactly these things does? Linked service, suppose you have Azure SQL. Now you want to fetch some data from Azure SQL. Suppose you have Azure Key Vaults you are using for secret management. So and you want to fetch some secrets from Azure Key Vault. So you have to put a connector between your Azure Data Factory and your any of the Azure services. Suppose I'm taking it like Azure Key Vault. So link service is the connector between your ADF and that Azure services. So whenever you will create the linked service, it will be added to your ADF immediately. So there is I will show you how these things gets done. I'm just collecting all these stuffs so that it will be easier for you. So before publishing to Azure Git, it will be directly added to ADF. I will go one by one. Then it is always a best practice to store all the secret and configuration values into Azure Key Vaults. We can actually hard code these values in our environment, but it's a good practice when you are using your ADF in enterprise level. It's a best practice to use a secret management services. You can use it in Azure Key Vault. Azure is providing as Azure Key Vault. You can use it over there as well as it has a benefit in the time of deployment management. Uh, Suppose I am generating something in my dev environment. Right now, when I am passing those things to my SIT environment, the SIT environment's configuration value might have been changed, right? So at that time, that configuration value has to be pointed and fetched by SIT level key vaults. Okay, I will show all these things to you, and it's all about generating ARM templates. So what is ARM templates? ARM templates is for Azure Resource Management templates. So it's kind of a JSON file which will be generated once you start deploying your Azure. So whenever you are changing something, this JSON file will be generated, and this JSON file will be passed to different environments through CI/CD pipelines. Okay, let me show you how the architecture we will do. So right now there are three kind of Microsoft recommended practices for deployment of Azure Data Factory. Let me show you first all the ADF related things right now in the Azure portal. So if you will go here in your Azure portal, you can see that I have three resource groups. So uh, resource group you can build by using portals, or you can create it by using ARM templates. So it's a best practice to use ARM templates so that it will be synchronized in all the environments. If you don't know about resource group, just put me in the comment box, just comment it there. I will create a separate video for that. Right now we have three resource groups. One is pointing to dev, one is pointing to SIT, one is pointing to UAT. So if I will go to dev environment, you can see uh, it's getting loaded. So you can see that it has a key vault, it has a blob storage. So this is a blob storage, this has a key vault. So what exactly Key Vault is storing? Key Vault is storing the connection details of the blob storage. Suppose this is a blob storage of which is pointing to dev, and it is also a best practice to use some naming convention over here in all the environments. Suppose I am using sample dev SA. That means sample dev is for dev environment, SA is for storage account. Now, if you will go to blob services, no, not blob services, I just want to show you the connection keys. So if you will go to access keys, you can see that there will be access keys. So key 1 connection string and key 2 connection string. Right now, if you will just click on the show keys, this will be shown to you. Right now it's hidden. If we'll go to my key vault, just come back, resource group, sample dev rg. So you will see that we already have a secret over there. I have already kept these secrets inside the key vault, which will be used at the time of deployment. Suppose you will go to secrets. I have already created one secret for storage account connection string. If we'll click on here, click on the enabled version, you should see the connection string here. So if you will click on the source secret value, you can see the secret value over here. That means in Key Vault we have already kept the connection string, which will be used in different environments of Azure Data Factory. So similarly, if we will go for SIT environment, you can see, if I'll go to SIT environment, you can see that there is also one sample SIT essay. I am putting the naming convention in a proper way, and here it is sample hyphen SIT hyphen KB, and there also we have kept all these things in that way. So I have already initiated one Azure Data Factory over here. Uh, I will show it to you why I have initiated here and why I have not initiated in the dev environment. Now coming up to the presentation again. So there are three types of deployment. One is, if I will go to my Azure Data Factory. So I just want to show all these things to you one by one. So there are three types of deployments. One is your complete CI/CD approach, which is also fine. This is the newest method. I'll show it these things in our second video, in our second chapter. Right now we will focus on this first chapter, that is, once you will generate some ARM templates. I have already told you that once you are deploying something, once you are developing something in the Azure Data Factory, an ARM template will be generated. That ARM template, whenever the publishing gets done from the collaboration branch, it will create the ARM template, newly generate ARM template. It will create those newly ARM templates and it will publish it to a different branch. Now, by creating automated release pipelines, that is known as continuous delivery pipelines, we will collect those ARM templates, we will change the environment configuration over there, and we will deploy it to our different environments. But here there is a catch. What the catch is? We can't do continuous integration. Continuous integration means once you are merging your uh, data, or you are merging your new development to your collaboration branch, you have to publish it manually. At least publication has to be done manually. After that, continuous delivery can be done automatically. So this is a catch over here. So that to rectify those things, Microsoft came up with a different idea, in which is known as complete CI/CD pipeline. No need to use publication method manually. You can publish those things by using CI/CD approach. I will show it to you in our next video, because otherwise this video will get long. Now there is another method which is actually not recommended by Microsoft. That is, you can also manually deploy this ARM template, right? Once a ARM template generates, you can just collect the ARM templates, download those ARM templates, and just push those things to our next environments, which has to be done by manually. So Microsoft never recommends those things, and we also never recommend those things in large scale production level environments. Why? Because there will be human error and we can't rectify this once it goes to production environment. Okay. If right now we will look into the architecture, what I am talking about. So there will be three environments. One is your dev, one is your SIT, one is your EUAT, ADF. Now, this will be my master branch. Okay, my collaboration branch. This will be. The first step will be, suppose I am creating one feature branch. Suppose there is a feature that I want to just copy all the things from one folder to another folder in the blob storage. Right now, to implement those feature, I have created one feature branch. Now the same way, whatever the way we develop coding principles, the same way we have already developed the feature branch, we have already debugged it. Now in second step here, we are merging those things into collaboration branch, that is same as master branch. Now once this thing gets done in the master branch, this will reflect in the Azure Git part of your ADF. So in ADF, I will show you that there are two parts. One is your Azure Git, one is the Git Live. Sorry, Azure ADF Live. Which one is the existing branch? Which one is the actual thing? So in branch, you are managing the source control, but this one will be the actual thing. Right now, after that, you will go to here, publish manually. Extremely sorry for the typing mistakes I have done. So this has not to be done by Azure Git. This has to be reflected as ADF Live. So there is another thing called as ADF Live method, live scenario. So those things, whatever you have in our master branch, it has to be published manually in the third process. Now after that, it will create the uploaded ADF collections, and it will create and it will just update the ADF publish branch. So there will be another branch will be generated, and that is known as ADF publish, and all the ARM templates will be just stored inside this ADF publish branch. Now after that, we will create our continuous delivery pipeline, which will actually pull all those things and create the artifacts, and it will be deployed to our SIT and UAT environment. So to just make everything's like every life easy, we are using Azure Key Vault to just store all the secrets, so that in dev environment we can directly fetch everything from the Azure Key Vault. In SIT and UAT environment also, respective Azure Key Vault will fetch the details. Okay. Right now, we will go for practical implementations. If you will see here, I'm going to my dev branch. So I will create one ADF over here so that you will understand what is the naming convention I just need to follow. Just give me 1 minute. Always try to follow a single naming convention so that it will be easier at the time of deployment. So I am copying it. I'm going to dev. Now I'm creating one ADF over here. Uh, just my bad that my network connection is very slow. I'm trying to just implement it. I hope you will understand all these things. So I'm going to integration, and there you will find the Azure Data Factory. Just click on here. It's a simple step. You can either go and create it manually, or it's a best approach. You should go for the ARM template generation. Once the ARM template will be generated, you just need to change the name with respect to the environments. Now this one will be sample POC dev ADF. Now coming up to here, if you will click here, you will see that there is one thing called as configure git ladder, or you can just configure all these things right now. Okay, I'll choose configure git ladder so that I will show you in the ADF only. Now you can just click on all those things, and right now review plus create, and I will come back once these things gets done. Now my ADF has already been deployed, so I am going to my resources. In the same way, in other resource groups, I have also created sample POC UAT ADF and sample POC SIT ADF. Now coming up to here, you can see all those things. You can go for access control. You can do anything over here, just like other Azure services. So right now I am clicking on author and monitor. If you will click here, uh, let let it be loaded. Now you can see that there are four things, whatever you have already seen: home, author, monitor, and manage. Right now I'm going to home. Let's see what all these things are there. So you can see that don't bother about all these things because it's a little bit of advanced level video. So I'm not telling you how to do all these things in the ADF. I'm just focusing so that we will create the DevOps pipeline over there. Right now you can see that there is things over here. One is the data factory and another is the setup code for Git. Now I'm going to set up the Git repository. If I will just click on here where it is pointing and showing me that repository type. I'm just choosing only GitHub and Azure DevOps Git is right now available. So choose one and I have created my Git repository. Just to show you, I can show this thing .azure.com. Now if we'll go to my Azure DevOps, so you can see that there is one ADF POC repo. This one is I mean I have created it for different thing. We will use this thing ADF POC repo. So if I will go here in my sample POC dev ADF, I'll just choose Azure DevOps Git. Now Azure Data Factory would be fine. I'll just choose this thing and I will just write continue. If you have not connected with the Azure Data Factory, it will ask you for the service principal. It will show you here, or you can just go to your Azure Data Factory and create one service principal so that it will be authenticated with respect to Azure Data Factory. Now you can see there are two things. You can create your new repository or you can use the existing repository. Right now we are just selecting my repository. I'm just selecting my organization name, that is on demo sample ADF. Now the project name, I'm selecting my project name right now. If we will go here, I'm using this project. Now if I'll going to the repository name, you can see that my repository name is ADF POC repo inside that project. I'm choosing that one. Now it is asking me for the collaboration branch. Collaboration branch can be master. So I don't have anything right now, I think. So it is showing me this thing. Let's check first if I have anything in the collaboration branch because I have created entirely new. So let's see if it has something or not. As you can see, if I'll go to repo and files, you can see that there is nothing. And in branches, if I'll click on branches, you see there is no other branches are there, right? So right now I should create one collaboration branch. Let it be master. Create new. Branch name should be master. Okay. Uh, just wait. Yeah, master. Then see here you can just change the ADF publish branch. I have already told you. Let me show you the SharePoint. If you see, this one is the ADF publish branch. You can rename it to anything, but Microsoft has named it as ADF publish branch. We will stick into that. So this one will be our publishing branch. This one is not collaboration branch. I am reminding you again, this one will be our publishing branch. Now I'm going to again here, that one is ADF publish, that looks fine. Root folder will be fine. This you can give anything. Okay, it depends upon your source control management systems. Now import resource into these branches. We don't have anything right now, so it's fine. We just remove this thing, import existing resources to the repository. Okay, I'm just applying it. Let's wait. It should create one branch in our ADF repo. What is the branch? What is the project name? ADF POC repo. Just let's wait for this thing. Now repo has been created and connected. If I will go here and I will just use these files in the repo, you can see that already I have created one master branch. Okay, so master branch has already been created, but ADF publish branch has not been created till now. Why? Because as I have already told, if you will go to the architecture, once the first collaboration has been done, when we are publishing it manually to our ADF, now it will be either created or uploaded. Suppose there is nothing in our ADF right now, so it has not been created. So once something will be there in our branch, we will publish it, then this ADF publish branch will be created. Now going to our portal, if we'll go here to our dev branch, it has already been created, right? Set working branch, it is asking. Let it be. I will show you one by one. I will just save it so that you will see everything over here. Okay, right now you can see that this is our collaboration branch. And yes, remember one thing, you can only publish anything in from the collaboration branch. Suppose I have a feature branch, this publish button will not going to work. Microsoft has already defined all these things in their documentation, that this will only going to be valid in the collaboration branch, that is our parent branch. So I have nothing over here right now. Okay, so what I do is my feature will be, I will create one ADF right now, ADF pipeline, and that will be a sample feature that will just copy something from the blob storage. If you will see over here in my resource group, ADF dev sample dev essay, I hope it will get loaded soon. Yeah, it got loaded. Now if we'll go to my blob service, you can see that I have already created two things over here. One is your input container, one is your output container. So my objective is to just have a file in the input container, just push it to the output container by using ADF pipelines, not by just doing ARM, doing Azure automations or anything. Just I want to just move those files from input to output. Okay, so how to do? If I will just select it, I'll just upload something over in here. I'm just uploading something. Let it be select file. It is asking me. All these things can be done automatically also. You have to write PowerShell scripts or any kind of automation scripts for that. So in desktop, I have a sample.json. Let's see where that JSON file. There are so many things in my inside my JSON, inside my desktop. Okay, this one. So I'll just select this one and I will just open it. Okay, this has been choosed. Now, okay, this got uploaded. Okay, this how only if you will go here, just want to show you something that I have written something over or not. So in sample.json, if I will go to edit to view what exactly there, so you can see that it's just a normal file. It has a name and it's been written as Anshuman Dikshit over here, right? So right now my objective is to just move this input file, input containers file to output through Azure Data Factory. Now I'm going to our ADF demo, dev ADF. What I will do is I will follow the Git principle right now because it has already been connected. I will just follow the Git principle. What Git principle says, whenever you do some new features, you have to create a feature branch. Now I will create something and I will create a new branch over here, right? Now I'm creating a new branch. Now I can just put a naming convention over here. Let copy data. It's a feature, so I can make it as feature hyphen copy data. Okay, I have already created something over here. As I don't have anything in my ADF right now, it will just create a branch. If I have something in my ADF, just like our normal code, we create the feature branch, it will have everything in our feature branch. Okay, right now this entire ADF is pointing to the feature branch. Okay, right now I will create one pipeline. I'll go here. Before that, I will create the data sets first. Okay, we will go for the data set, new data. We need two data set. One is for input, one is for output. Okay, which will be pointing to Azure Blob Storage. Let me search Blob Storage over here. Blob Storage, Azure Blob Storage. This one is a JSON file. I have selected it. Now I am giving it as it is a data set. I am writing as ds blob, and this one is for input. Okay. Now here it is asking me for linked service. I have already told you in my starting of the video that linked service will be the connector between your Azure Data Factory and your Azure services. Right now, Blob service is the Azure service and ADF is the ADF. Now we are creating the connector. We don't have anything right now, so we will create a new linked service. So if we will go to my PowerPoint presentation, you can see something over here. I have written in the first thing that linked service and integration runtimes will be added immediately to the ADF before publishing it to the Azure Git. Now those things I will show you here. Okay, so let it be like this. Now I will create one linked service. Suppose I'm canceling this thing. I just want to show you something. If I will go to my live mode here, wherever I am talking about ADF live, that means I am going to live mode. If I will show you the live mode, it has already been pointing to the live mode. Now you can see we are not getting this publish button as activated. So we can only publish all these things from Git right now because we have already integrated the Git and it is showing that you have Git enabled in your Azure Data Factory. Right now, if I will go to manage, you should see that there is no linked service available. See, there is no linked service available. Right now, it is asking us that create a linked service, but we are going to create it from Git. But I have already told you that whenever you will create some linked service, it will be directly published to your ADF live. Okay, whether you are deploying it or whether you are not deploying it to your master branch, whether you are merging it or not merging to your master branch, it will be created in the ADF live. So whenever you are creating the linked service, you have to be little bit more accurate. So I'm going back to my Azure DevOps Git, which is pointing to the feature branch. You can see now I'm going to create the linked service. I will create the data set. From there also I can create, or I can just go over there and create the linked service as I have shown the in the previous 2 minutes. Right now I'm just selecting the blob services here, and in data set I will just, as I have JSON file over there, I'm selecting the JSON file. So this one continue. This one I am writing it like ds blob your input. This one will be pointing to input, so I'm pointing to input. Now link service, I don't have any link service. I will create a new link service. Now you can see you can give something over here. Now see, it is showing you to avoid publishing immediately to the data factory, please use Azure Key Vault to retrieve secrets securely. Either you can use Azure Key Vault or you can directly use connection string. So if you are using connection string, it will be directly connected and it will be directly pushed to the linked service to the live mode. Right now, we will try to fetch everything from the Key Vault. It is a best practice to store everything in a central secret repository, that is the Azure Key Vault, and there we will fetch everything. We have already stored our blob storage connection string in the Azure Key Vault, right? So if we'll go here, You should see, let me duplicate this thing. So you can see that in our which one, repo, where is my repo, dev repo, here in Key Vault, in Key Vault, and in secrets, we have already stored a secret value over here. Storage account connection string. Right now I'm going again to here. I'm just giving a naming convention as ls, as it's a linked service ls. Then it is pointing to the blob storage, so should be ls blob. That should be fine. You can give the description over here. Connecting via integration runtime. So um, if you know this thing in ADF, so there is one integration runtime is being created automatically for Azure environment. Now authenticator method, you can use the account key, you can use anything over here like service principal or managed identity also. Right now I'm going to use Azure Key Vault. Now AKV linked service. Now Azure Key Vault is another linked service. Sorry, Azure Key Vault is another service of Azure. So just like blob storage, we need to create another linked service for Azure Key Vault. Let me do first those things. You can select here and you can select new. It should now reflect for the Azure Key Vault. Okay. Now I am putting it like this one is for ls kv for Azure Key Vault. Now Azure subscription, for Azure subscription, I am using my pay as you go subscription. Azure Key Vault name. If you can see, there are three key vaults. Now I should be pointing to dev key vault because it is dev environment. Okay. Now I pointed down things and description. I am just putting it out. Now I'm creating. You can use this test connection to test all these things as well. So if it is a tick mark, then everything is fine. Um, it went away, otherwise I could show these things to you. Now we can see it here if this key vault will fetch the secrets properly. Now this is pointing to ls key vault, that is the linked service for key vault. Now secret name, if you will go to our key vault, this one should be our secret name, right? I'm just copying it, I'm pasting it. Okay, secret version, we don't need any secret version, so latest version will always going to be picked up. And I'm just testing the connection. Let's hope for the best that test should be passed. And if the test should be passed, that means now it got failed. So you have to look why it got failed. Caller was not found in the access policy in this key vault. Okay, so it's a good thing that this thing pops out. So you should understand that if we were fetching something from the key vault, that means we have to allow or we have to authenticate those things so that so that those data can be fetched from the key vault. So if we'll go to key vault, I have not assigned the policy so that ADF will be able to just fetch those secrets. It's another layer of security Microsoft has added. So if you will go to access policy, we should create one access policy for ADF. Template Azure description, that's fine. We are just adding it something over here. So configuration name should be a configuration template should be key and secret management, as we are fetching secrets. And in service principal, select principal, we can select it, and here we should get the name of ADF. Let's just wait so that it will be okay. What is my ADF name? Sample POC dev ADF. Now it pops out. Now I am giving the access to this ADF. with respect to these permissions. Okay, it can, if you will go to secret permission, you can see that there is get and list. So these are necessary, all the other things are not necessary. We can just remove those things as well, or I can just remove these things now also to show you. Get and list is necessary because we are fetching those things in this ADF. Okay, now I have added, and this should, once I save this, this should reflect over here. So this is a pattern Microsoft follows to just authenticate everything, so that before fetching something from the Key Vault, these all things should be authenticated. Okay, now this got created. Now we should see over here and we should test it whether the test connection is failing or passing. We can see. Uh, I was fortunate that this test connection got failed, so that you got to know that how this thing happened. Now, wonderful. Now this connection got successful. Now I'm just creating it. Once this got created, we will just go over here. This is pointing to ls blob. Remember, we are creating the data set for input. Now I'm not giving any path over here. I'm just clicking on OK. Right, this got created. Now if you can see, this is a data set, right? And I have already told you, inside ADF everything is ARM template and everything is pointing to a JSON file. If I will just point to this code, you should see a JSON file over here. Let's just wait. And now you can see that this is a JSON file. Okay, name is ds blob input, and you all have the link services and all. Okay, I'm just canceling it, and right now I'm saving it. Okay, this is one, and another will be the similar thing, ds blob input, and that will be ds blob output. Let me use a shortcut so you can see there is a clone button. I'm just using it for clone. Everything will be similar. Only thing is I just want to say save this thing as ds blob output. Okay, it's my spelling correct? Yeah. Now I'm also saving this thing. Okay, now two things got saved. Okay, so if I will go to my repository here, I'm just refreshing it so that you will see all these changes over here. Once I'm saving something, it's not been published till now. If I'll show my things, I will show you one by one. If we'll go to master, it should create another feature branch. See, feature copy data. Now, if I will just choose feature copy data, you can see everything over here. What is the data set? What is the data factory? What is the linked service? Okay. Now it's been uploaded and you can see the commit details, so that if something will go wrong, you can just revert it back. All other code will be there. Now coming up to the dev ADF, I just want to show you that whether it got merged to the master branch or not. Suppose I am choosing the master branch, this should not be there. This two datasets should not be there in the master branch. Why? Because we have not merged anything till now. So you can see in master branch we don't have anything. Okay. Now suppose I have already told you that whenever you are creating the linked services, it will be directly deployed to the live branch. Okay. Now I am pointing to the live mode. So what exactly should be in the live? There should not be no dataset in the live mode because we have not published, but there should be two linked services. Okay, right now I'm choosing it, so you can see that there are no linked services over here. Why? Because you have already shown the table, right there. It was showing that if you are using Key Vault, this linked services will not be available here unless and until you publish. If you have not used any kind of Key Vault, it can directly be used over here. Right now what I will do is I will go to my feature branch, DevOps Git. I'm choosing the Git. Now I'm just choosing the feature branch. Okay, now feature branch has this lists linked services. Okay, now I'm coming to the author again. Now you can see that I have already created one data set. Now I will create the pipeline. Let's do a pipeline. That should be, suppose this one is pipeline. So I'm just renaming it as PL underscore, this one is copy data. Okay, let it be, let this thing as a pipeline name. Now I will go over here. I'll just drag a copy data activity and yeah, that's it. I just want to show that this one will be copy data, and now I will go to source. I'll just choose my source data set, so that will be input. And what will be my container name? So if you will see, my container name is what, input, right? Oh, sorry, I have created another one. Let me cancel it. Let me open this and I will just put this thing as input. I have mistakenly forgot this thing to put. Now I am saving these things. All these things are being saved inside which branch? Okay, I have saved it in the master branch, which should not be done. Okay, you can see those things. If I'll just go to discard all the changes, I'm going to my feature copy branch. Okay, now all those things related in the master branch which has been changed, I have already changed something in the master branch, right? So this is being reflecting right now in my feature branch, because feature branch is the child branch of the master branch. Now it takes the latest things from the master branch when I am just changing the branch. Right now I'll create the pipeline again, because feature branch doesn't have those things and I have discarded it from the master branch. So I'll just copy this thing, let it be as PL copy data, PL data. Okay, now once this thing gets done, I'll just go to source. I'll just use blob input. Now this should point to the input branch. If I'll open this thing, it should point to the input container, correct? Now if I'll go to again to copy data in sync, I should choose output. Now this should point to output. Now I am changing it in the uh, feature branch, output, correct? Now I'm saving it. You can use save all over here. Let me debug these things first. Okay, let me just save it and let me just debug this thing so that we can understand that whether my our development is being done properly or not. Now I'm debugging it. So it is showing that copy data ds blob input location is a folder, white color file is required to copy required data. Okay, now if I'll go here, if I'll open, I should see something, let it be. Now you can see that here I'm just using the file path dataset. This should be pointing to the star.json input. Yeah, this looks fine right now. I am saving it. Now I am trying to debug it in my feature branch. I have not merged anything to my master branch till now except those data set. Okay, right now this has been going on. I have just debugged it. I have not added any trigger. Let's just wait so that hopefully this should be completed. Okay, Now you can see that this got completed. We can see that output it's showing something, the data is 31 bytes. So if I'll go to my sample dev essay and output, you should see a sample.json file because it's been moved from there. And when it got deployed, I just check the modified time. So you can see that this is 10:34 p.m. Okay, and right now it is 10:35. So if we'll go to here and you just need to cross check whether it's sample.json or not, you can just select here in edit. You can see the exact naming convention, names, whatever the things we have in the input file. Okay, so it's got done in our feature branch. Now if I will go to my master branch, you should not see this pipeline because we have not merged anything till now. So right now you can see that our master branch doesn't have anything in the pipeline. Okay, right now I will again choose the feature branch. Now I will create the merge request. Okay, so if you will create here, there is something called as create pull request. Now I am creating the pull request. It should point to our Azure DevOps. Now we can just create a pull request just like normal pull request. We can just pass some name, some title, that copy data activity, sorry, pipeline feature added. Okay, now in reviewers, I don't have anything. I have only me, so I have copied it. So if suppose you have any work items in your Azure DevOps board, so you can just put those things link over here. Okay, now I am creating it. As I am the reviewer, so pull request comes up in the pull request part. You can see that there is something written and I can add my comments on those things by looking into those things. So if you will go to files, I'm just showing all these things so that it will be easier for the newbies. So you can see that what kind of files we have. We have a linked list, linked services. We have a uh, linked services for blob, for key vault, for everything, right? We have something over here. Right now you can see what kind of things are here: data shared, linked services, and pipelines. Now I'm just approving it. Now I'm just creating the complete. Okay, so there are three things. You can see over here, there are three things. One is complete associate works after merging. So this will only going to merge something over here. Now you can choose what kind of merge. So I'm choosing normal merge right now. There are different kinds of merge. And if you want to delete the feature branch after merging, you can delete it, but I will not recommend it because oh, who knows that you might need something in future that you have to come up here and you can just put some changes and just merge it again. So never delete your feature once. There is no harm to put your code in some source control. It is always going to be free. Now complete merge. I'm just completing this merge. Okay. Now this got merged. Okay. Now if I'll go to my ADF repo files, now in the master branch, you should see everything. Now this one is the feature copy branch. Now I'm going to the master branch. You should see everything over here. You can see everything over here. Now you can see the JSON files. So as our ADF is also pointing to the master branch, you can come here and you can see, suppose I'm choosing it as feature, as master branch, you should see everything over here, right? Now everything is being here. Now if you want to debug it over here as well, you can debug it. You are most welcome, but I am just to make this video short, this is getting longer, so I'm not debugging it anything right now. As this thing now coming up to the next step. Next step is we want to publish everything to our ADF Live. So if you will go to ADF Live over here, you can see that there is nothing inside ADF Live. Okay, linked services and everything, there is nothing inside your ADF Live. Now what you can do is you can go your Git and you can use this publish button. Okay, so there is one master branch. I have already told you that master branch in our is our collaboration branch. So you just need to publish these things to the ADF. Now it will ask everything to review over here, that this files has to be published. You can see PL copy data has to be published, data set has to be published, integration runtimes has to be published. We don't have any integration runtimes till now, and there are two link services, those things has to be published. Now I'm clicking on OK. It should generate an ARM right now. It will show you that generating an ARM. Let's just wait for the notification. Yeah, right now it is showing that publishing deployed 5 of 5 resources. Now it is showing that generating ARM templates. Now just let's wait whether it got succeeded or not. Yes, it got succeeded. Now if we'll go to the live mode, which is actual ADF, that was the source control. This was the actual ADF. Now if we'll go to the live mode, you can see that everything has been published over here, just like normal ADF Azure Data Factory. Now you want to debug it, you can debug it. You want to do something else, you can do it something else. Now what exactly did happen? I have already told you in my PPT. So if you will see that I have already told here in my architecture that once this will be published manually, now I have done publish manual publications, right? Now once this will be published in the ADF Live, this will create the ADF publish branch or whatever the name you have already given at the branch creation time. Now if I will go to my repo, ADF POC repo, you should see here an ADF publish branch. So this branch should contain all the ARM files which has to be deployed in different environment. So if I will just select over here, you can see that what all are the global parameters, what all are the linked templates, what all are the partial ARM templates, ARM template parameters, all these things. Now we will just push all these things to our or to our other different environments by using release pipelines. Now I'm going to my pipeline. So if you will see the architecture of DevOps, this has been already done. So I will create the artifacts in the release pipeline. After that, I will just get to fetch those artifacts and I will just push it to my ADF pipeline and UAT pipeline. At the time of creating the pipeline, we will change the SIT level configuration and UAT level configuration in the ARM template. And how to do that? We have already used Azure Key Vault for that reason to store everything in a central way. Now we will just need to point everything to our Azure Key Vault. Let me show these things as well to you. So if we will go here, now we are creating a release pipeline. So I'm just pointing to release. Hopefully everything will go well, because by some reason Microsoft has changed some of the free tier subscriptions facilities. So hopefully everything should go well. Right now it is asking me to create different stages. Right now I'm just putting it this way. I'm just choosing the artifact right now. Where the artifacts will be, we are not building anything over here. We are just pointing to our Azure repo. That's it. Now if I'll go to project, we have ADF POC repo as our project. Now in source, it will show you ADF POC repo is our source control name. That's fine. Now default branch, Now default branch, you should choose ADF publish branch, no master branch. Master branch is for collaboration. ADF publish branch is for publication because every ARM template has been generated in the ADF publish branch, not in the master branch. Now I'm choosing ADF publish branch. Now default version I have taken just the latest branch, that's fine. Now shallows fetch depth we don't need. Source alias yeah, that looks good. ADF POC repo, you can choose anything over here so that it will reflect it here. Now I'm just adding it, and this is pointing to the alias ADF POC repo. Now the artifacts has already been created. What's the next step? We'll create the stages, right? So we have in dev environment, we have already deployed it manually by using publish button. So you can see that this publish button, we have already deployed everything in the live mode manually. Right now, if we'll go to my Azure portal, you already have, you can see that there are two different resource groups here, sample SITRG and sample UATRG. So I have already created two ADF over there. If you will see, this one is the ADF, and in UAT also this similar type of environment has been created. All the connection string has been stored inside Azure Key Vault by from the blob storage. Okay, so that SIT label pipelines will access those things from the Key Vault directly. We will have a central secret, what you call central repository for all the secrets. In the same way, UAT also been done. If you will, if you want to show these things as well, I will want to show you. You should see all these things, right? Now these two, SIT and UAT, has not been synchronized with Git. This has only live environment. This doesn't have any Git environment right now because we had already done something in the DevOps part, in the ADF part, right? In dev environment, we just need to push everything to the SIT and UAT environment. We don't need to create any Git environment for those things. Right now I'll go to my, so I will go again where I have left to my release pipeline. I have already created the artifact. Now I will create the stages. For dev environment I have already created. Now this one should be SIT. Now this one is SIT. Stage owner is fine. Now I'll just close it. I will just use it as stage name. Stage name is society fine. Agent job. Let me check everything is fine or not. You can choose agent specification VS 2017. I'll just choose something related to Ubuntu because Ubuntu is little bit less costly. So once you will get into Azure DevOps, you should understand that what is the necessity of choosing a best operating system so that your cost will be very much minimized. Okay, so Ubuntu I have already chosen. Right now all the things looks good. Artifacts will be downloaded from our alias path. Now here I should choose what, that is ARM template deployment. Okay, right, I'm choosing those things. Now if I'll go over here, so one of the best practice I can tell you is better to fetch everything from the Key Vault by using a Key Vault over here. If we'll go to here, right, Key Vault, it should show you something. Let's see. See, Azure Key Vault has been there. You can just fetch everything from the Key Vault, or you can just write secrets, everything from here. It's a good practice that you should fetch everything from the Key Vault before starting the deployment. Okay. So I'm not doing that right now because it will be little bit more costly for me. Now I'm going to for configuration of this ARM template. If we'll go over here, it is showing me that Azure Resource Manager connection. I'm just choosing my subscription type. I'm choosing my subscription. Oh, I need to authorize it first. Why? Because it will create a service principal so that this DevOps pipeline will be authenticated from the Azure services, from Azure Active Directory to access the Azure services. Just like we have done managed identity in the Azure Key Vault for Azure Data Factory. Now this service principal got created. Now scope has been resolved. Subscription. I'm just choosing my subscription. Hopefully this should come. Yeah, this came. Now action, create or update Azure resource group. Yeah, that's fine. Resource group. I'm just choosing right now the resource group. This should be SIT. Now I'm choosing the location. Location is West Europe, I think. Uh, West Europe. I'm not sure what I have written in my other time of deploying the resources. So let it be West Europe. Now template location, I should choose it as linked artifact, correct? Or you can give the URL as well. Now template, I'm choosing the template. This one should be the Azure ARM templates. Now if you'll go to linked artifacts, you can see this Azure ADF POC repo alias, which is being pointing to the ADF publish branch. Now I'm just selecting it. Now I'm selecting the template. Which one is for ARM template for factory? Now after that, I will choose the parameters template. What exactly this will do, I'll just show you shortly. Now I'll just do what is this one is Azure parameter factory. Now I'll choose the Azure parameters for factory. Okay. Once this thing gets done, I will just override the parameters. Now you see what this thing will show you. See what all kind of variable we might have. One is your linked services. So linked services, we are using the connection strings. So the connection string is being fetched from the Azure Key Vault. This is the right way to fetch it from the Azure Key Vault. Why I have already told you, because this will be very handy to just implement these parameters. Otherwise you will have different connection strings for different linked services, and this entire pop-up model will be very lengthy to implement. Right now what I am doing it, my factory name is sample POC. What is my factory name? Sample POC dev. This one should be point to SIT. That fine. Now property name is storage account connection string. See, this has already been given. You can just override it. But in UAT, I'll just show you in UAT. But the same thing has been done in SIT as well. So this one is also having the same secret name. If we'll go to SIT, in SIT key vault, in secret, you should see the naming convention, storage account connection string, the same naming convention. Now I will go to my release pipeline. You can see that storage account connection. Now the keyword should be pointing to SIT. So this is the benefit of using a proper naming convention. You just not need to change everything. You just need to change the environment. Okay, this can also be done by using this variable. In variable, we can use environment details and you can just fetch it over here. In different videos, in my previous videos, I have used these variables. You can watch there as well. Now clicking on OK, parameters got overridden. Now deployment mode is incremental. That's fine. Deployment name and all other things are correct. Okay, no need to change anything. Right now, I'll just save this. This is so simple, right? Now I'll just save it to my branch. Now this got saved. Now I'll just come to the pipeline. I'll just copy this task. Okay, this one is the similar thing, so I'll just clone it for UAT. This one will be for UAT. I'll just put it as UAT. All the other things would be same. The only thing is we need to change the template parameters to point it to UAT. So if I'll go to override template parameters, this should point it to UAT storage account connection string. This should point it to UAT, and this would be the key vault. Okay, that's fine. Let's just give this release pipeline a name. This one is release something like ADF. Always give a version, so it will be good if you are changing the release things. So release version 1, I'm just saving it, just clicking on OK. Now I'm just creating the release and I'm just hoping that everything should be fine right now. Now I'm just creating it, and if everything goes well, and we should have a release pipeline right now. So what Microsoft has done, due to very large use of free things, Microsoft has restricted those things. So I'm not sure whether it will work or not, but yeah, it is working. Thanks God. Now let's wait so that this release gets finished. Now it is downloading the ARM templates. It is taking a little bit of time. I'll just pause this video, and once this thing gets done, I'll show it to you. Okay, it got succeeded in the SIT. So once it is going to the UAT, we can see the SIT at least. So I'm going to my resource group. I'm choosing my SIT resource group. There is also one ADF I have created. Now SIT author monitor. It's opening. Now I'm just going to see. I have already told you that in SIT and UAT I have not integrated with Azure Git. So it should directly go to the live mode, right? It is going to the directly to the live mode. In pipeline I have already one pipeline. Let's see. See, this one is the PL copy data. And in dataset as well, we should have something and something. Okay. To just see whether the key vault and other things in the parameter got changed in our deployment or not. Just to make sure, I can just go to my SIT, where? Here only, in SIT resource group. I'll just put a input file in my SIT blob storage, and we will do the same thing. Whatever the thing we have done in our dev branch, we'll just go to the SIT branch and we will do those same things. Okay. Now this is loading. Well, it got loaded. Right now I'm choosing the blob services. Now input. Uh, I'm just hoping that we should have something. No, we don't have. We have to upload it again. Uploading it. The same sample.json, or just to use the automation, you can create another PowerShell scripts to upload all these things as well. Right now it got uploaded. I will just go to the output and to check that whether the output we have anything. No, we have not anything. Right now I'm going to my SIT POC sample ADF. Which one? This one or this one? This one is the SIT branch. Okay. Now this has already has a copy data activity. Now you have seen that there is nothing in the output in the SIT. If the key vault has been successfully replaced and the connection has been successfully replaced, this should definitely work. I'll just debug it. Let's see whether it's getting deployed properly or not. Now it's validating as we are trying to use for the first time in this environment. Hopefully this should validate everything because we have not done any mistakes. Your copy runtime environment has been validated. Just close it. I'll just debug it. Okay, right now this debug is getting created. Let's just wait so that this copy activity will be done. Now this is failing. So why this is failing? I should check. Okay, user configuration issue, error code AKV access has been denied. Okay, the same issue which we have fetched. This is not for the connection sync. Unfortunately, we have not given authorization access to this ADF because this is a new ADF. So again, we just need to go to our key vault. Thanks God that this kind of issues is occurring in the video so that you will understand that what kind of issue will happen in the real time. Now I'll go to access policy. I'll just give access. Now this should be accessed by SIT ADF. So I'm just using key and secret management. For secret permission, I'm just using get and list. And here not select principal. This should be your sample POC hyphen SIT ADF, correct? Right now I'm just selecting it, I'm adding it, and I'm saving it. Make sure that you need to save this thing, otherwise this will not work. This is not auto saved. You have to save it. Now we have given authentication by using access policy. So every ADF has a managed identity, have a unique identity, and we are giving that to access this thing. Right now we should go for debug and let's see, hope for the best that uh, this should copy all those things if the connection string was right. Now let's wait. Now this got succeeded. Now if we'll go to your which thing, your blob storage. I'm choosing it. I'm going to the output. You can see that there is one sample.json file. Similarly, we can go for the UAT. I am not doing it in the UAT, but you can check those things in the UAT. If the UAT pipeline has been deployed successfully, just let's check that whether UAT got successful or not. Okay, in UAT it didn't get successful. Now it is showing that at least one resource deployment failed. Please list deployment operation failed. Okay, what has happened is in UAT we have pointed it to a sample SITRG, which is actually not right. So we should go to the pipeline. My bad. Edit pipeline in job task. Let's see what all the jobs has been done. I know due to these errors, this video is getting long, but you will face this kind of error when you are going for the production. Okay, now this one is pointing to SIT, this one should point it to UAT. My bad. Let's create this and hopefully these things has been properly written. Yeah. Now create release. Now again we have to wait. Okay, let me check the release. This is being queued. Let's configure the UAT till now. Till that, if I'll go to ADF, not ADF, I'm going to the portal. Right now I'm going to the home, resource groups, and right now I'm going to the UAT environment. Now in same thing in UAT KV, I just need to give the access. I have not given till now. So in secret, sorry, in access policy, I just want to go to access policy. Here again, I just need to give the permissions to manage secrets. So secrets will be get and list. That's fine for us. Then select principal. You can skip this video if you really want to because you have already see all these things in the SIT round. So this one is sample POC. This one is UAT. Give in, select. Now I am giving add. It's been added. I'm just saving it. Now in the UAT blob storage, I'll just see whether we have something in the input or not. We will use the same thing in the blob services. Now right now we have input. We don't have anything. We just need to upload something. You can definitely skip all these things, but I can't skip it right now because I need to just configure everything right now to show you. So you can directly skip it. I will tell you from where to where you can skip it. This one will be sample.json. My bad. Okay, so this one is the file. I have collected it. I am uploading it. So I'm just guessing that this should not have anything in the output because I have already used this blob storage, so there might have something. So there is nothing inside there. Right now I'm going to the release. So I'm checking whether this got succeeded or not, and yes, UAT also got succeeded. You can see the logs over here by coming it. You can see everything over here. Right now I am going to my UAT resource group. This one is my UAT resource group. So if I'll just choose my UAT ADF branch, author monitor. So let's this thing gets loaded. Now you can see that if I'll go to author, so you can see that there is one pipeline, there is one data set and all the things. And I have already given the configurations, the access inside my key vault for this ADF. So hopefully we should not have any error. It should directly move the files from input to the output one. So I'm not sure why there is no file over here. I'll just need to refresh this thing. This is getting lagged, I think. Yeah, this has something. So let it be refreshed. So now you can see this one. Now if I'll go to debug, this is validating as we have deployed it for the first time. See, you can see over here as well. I have not integrated any Azure Git over here. These are all are the environments. You should have only read-only access to these environments. You should not change anything in these environments. Okay. Whenever you do development, whenever do SIT, whenever you do UAT, you should do everything in your feature branches. These all things has to be done for testing purpose. Now I'm debugging it as validation got passed. Hopefully this should also give us successful result. Let's wait. Let me refresh this thing. Why it is getting, yeah, it got succeeded. Now I'm going to the resource group again just to cross check that whether everything got been moved to UAT or not in my blob storage. I'm just opening my blob storage, going to output. Now you can see it's been still loading. Yeah, you can see that this output has been moved to here. Right now, what things we have already covered. So we have created the, if I will go to the ARM, the architecture, you can see we have created the master branch. We changed everything in the feature branch, then we merged everything in the master branch. Then it got pushed to Azure Git master branch, which one is dev ADF. We have not set any Azure Git repo in our other environments. We published everything manually. Then after that, after it got published to ADF Live, we created an ADF publish branch and it creates the Azure pipeline. And by using continuous delivery, we are just pushing everything to SIT and a UAT branch. There is no need of manual deployment. And for secret managements in all these environments, we are using Azure Key Vaults. Right now, we just have only one small task. I just want to show you that now if suppose something has to be changed, what needs to be done? For that, I'm just deleting these output things here. I'll just show it in the UAT environment so that you will be able to understand that yes, these are also happening in the other environments as well. Okay, so I am deleting the output containers file in the UAT environment. What I will do is, if I'll go to my sample POC dev, This is pointing right now to the data factory. Let me just quickly point to my feature branch, feature copy data branch. I have pointed it. Right now, what I will do is I will just create a small feature, new feature, that is delete. So what my objective is right now, once the things are being moved from the input container, all those files will be deleted in the input. Okay, so there is only one file, so that file will be deleted. Right now I'm just putting a delete over here, delete activity. Source will be my same thing, ds input. I'll just use wildcard will be fine. Come on, file path in the dataset would be fine, right? If I'll go to here, yeah, this is pointing to input, so this should be fine. Now logging setting, we have not used any application insights over here, so it's better that we should not use enable logging, otherwise it will again create some cost in my Azure subscription. So what exactly it is doing, we have done these things, and hopefully I'm believing that I have created everything right. I'll just save it and I will just merge it right now. I'll just not do anything in the dev environment to show you, because this video is getting longer and longer. Right now I'll just merge these things, create a pull request. All the necessary steps will be same. We are just updating the pipeline. What update? Delete activity got added. Now I'll just create this pull request, and obviously I would be the reviewer because there is no other users are in my DevOps. So the pull request is being created. Let's wait. My internet connection is very slow today, so for that reason it is taking a lot of time. Right now in the pull request path you can see these things. I'll just directly put into copy complete, and I have not deleted my feature copy data branch. Complete merge. Okay, what I should have done is I should have implemented continuous integrations. I'll just show these things to you here, because if you want to see how the continuous deployment happens, you should go over here, you should go to your edit pipeline, and there should be a small symbol, this one. You can just enable it, and you can just use a branch filter, that is ADF publish branch. Okay, now this got been done, and now I'm just saving it. So if this had been done properly a few minutes before, this should have been kicked off naturally, but right now we have created it manually, so we have to create the release manually. Okay, you can use this in your task. Okay, you just try this one. Right now I'm releasing this thing. Now release got created. Let's see if everything will be deployed successfully or not. Now both got succeeded, I think. I believe SIT got succeeded. I can go to SIT and I can see whether everything is being replaced over here by refreshing the page. Now till now I should go to check whether release has been done. Now UAT is getting, we should wait for SIT environment to see whether it got properly implemented or not. As you can see that SIT doesn't have this thing. Why? I should just check whether I have done some mistakes or not. Oh, okay, I got it. I have not published this thing. So for that reason, our ARM templates didn't get update. Correct. Now I should go for publishing first. Let's wait for the master branch. Yeah, master branch got succeeded. Now publish this thing. Okay, now we have already implemented the CD part, continuous deployment part. We should get the pipeline started once we will publish this thing. Okay, so the publishing is being done. Now it is generating the ARM templates. Okay, the ARM templates has been generated. Now we should go for ADF version 1. This is release 3, so I have to check release 4, I think. So that one will be the latest one. Yeah. So there is another deployment is going on, that is release 4. And why this got automatically triggered? Because we have already implemented the continuous delivery by choosing that small symbol. Let's wait. SIT got completed. Now I'll just refresh this thing. Let's hopefully SIT should see all the results. Well, now you can see that SIT has those files where it went. Yeah, here. So this delete activity has been added in the SIT automatically. Let's see whether UAT, yeah, UAT also got complete. Right now I should open the UAT part. Let me refresh this. So I will trigger everything in UAT right now. What my output should look like is the files inside my input container should move to the output container, and after that the files inside my input container should be deleted. This was my latest feature I have used in the dev, and I have pushed everything to our SIT and UAT branch. Okay, so let it be. I'm just debugging it. You can add the trigger as well. So let's just come here. You can see that there is nothing over here in SIT UAT SA. So in you input you should see something. Yeah, still there is sample.json. Let's see whether it got refreshed or not. Yeah, so this got completed and this also got completed. Right now, if I will just refresh it, this should not have any data. Yeah, there is no file. And if I'll go to the output, this should have a file. Hopefully, yeah, this is already having a file. So to summarize everything, so what we have done, first we have created one Git branch, that is our collaboration branch, that will be the master branch. Then we have just connected our dev pipeline, ADF pipeline to our Git. Whenever we do something, we have creating the feature branch and we are updating the master branch by pushing it by using pull request. Once we will push everything, it will be shown in the master branch of dev ADF. After that, when we publish manually, it will go inside our ADF live and all the ARM files will be updated in the ADF publish branch. Once the ADF publish branch gets updated, it will generate the new artifact in our continuous delivery pipeline. Now after that, In the continuous delivery pipeline, we fetched all the secrets from the key vaults and we have used it in the parameters. After that, all those things got pushed to our SIT ADF and UAT ADF. All these things, after all these things, we just debugged the UAT ADF by using the new feature that was to just delete the input to just move the input container files to output container files and delete all the files inside the ADF input container. So that's all. And in this video we have done this thing, but in our next video we will go for the second part. This one is complete CI/CD pipeline for ADF deployment. So here we are using the manual publish button, but there we will not use the manual publish button, but there is a glitch here. So Microsoft is still not recommending this, but yeah, in the supported format, but Microsoft has already mentioned that this can be used. So stay tuned for this video. I know this video gets longer. I hope you have liked this video and you have collected some knowledge how the real-time environment should look. Thanks for watching this video. Please do like, comment and subscribe and share with your friends. Thank you.